The floodgates on Donald Trump's mental decline have been blown wide open because what used to be subtle, rambling answers and odd tangents and confused moments, they are now becoming impossible to ignore, even for people around Donald Trump. He is not just slipping. This is a guy unraveling in real time. And the interviews we've seen recently, the interview from yesterday that we looked at today with Kristen Welker, these are increasingly clear evidence that something here is very wrong. Now, I want to call your attention back to that interview with Time magazine from last week, where Trump was asked about a John Adams famous quote, "We're a government of laws, not of men." And Trump, even in transcript form, seemed extraordinarily confused. John Adams said that? What? Where was the painting? And of course, the painting was right behind Donald Trump, and Trump just seemed totally disoriented. These are not gotchas. These are prompts so soft that they could have been scripted, but Trump just can't follow the thread. And from there it spirals. He claimed that he finished the wall, but also needed to build more. He was told about a car bombing in Moscow, and he asked, "Who killed what?" Of course, the reporter had just told him a Russian general was killed in Moscow. And it no longer is a matter of opinion or exaggeration. This is a confusion that is happening every single day on camera at this point, and it's really not new. Now, if you dig through Trump interviews going back to the 1980s, you will see that he was never particularly sharp. Ask him a follow-up question, anything that requires depth or going beyond just the one talking point he knows, and he's been completely lost for a long time. Bob Woodward interviewed Trump back in 2016, and we now have the raw audio available in the audiobook War. It's painful to listen to because Trump doesn't explain policy, he can't explain policy, he free associates buzzwords until people stop pressing him, and it's also no secret that Trump speaks at a fifth grade level, and that resonates and is much of the explanation as to how Trump caught on in the first place, because more than half of this country operates at a fifth grade reading level or below. So when Trump talks in these broken sentences and low vocabulary fragments, it doesn't register as incoherent to a lot of people. It sounds familiar, and this is the sort of crutch or explanation for how Trump's been able to get away with such simplistic linguistic abilities for so long. Even worse, our brains are wired to make conversations make sense to us, and linguists have been interviewed about this. The human mind will fill in gaps in logic automatically. So when Trump is only mildly incoherent, we all, our brains, automatically, naturally sort of fill in the incoherence with coherence based on what we believe Donald Trump is talking about. So when Trump says something like, "I built the wall and we need to keep building it because it was working," many listeners don't even hear the contradiction. They mentally patch it up, and it sort of feels like Donald Trump is making a point. But what's now happening is that the gaps are sort of getting too big to ignore. Trump recently insisted that a deported man, Abrego Garcia, had MS-13 tattoos on his knuckles based on a picture that was blatantly photoshopped. Even when Trump was shown proof of that, he still doubled down. He confused the question about Harvard with made-up riots in Harlem. One thing had nothing to do with the other. And he dropped into that conversation last week, you might recall, with Stephen A. Smith, that he had a very high black vote, even though nobody brought that up. In another moment, he told Time, he's told Time interviewed Biden last year, and his response is, "Huh?" And then he claims he read the interview and that Biden didn't do well in the interview. But it's clear he didn't actually read anything. He's just reacting. He's making it up. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So let's kind of get to the implications of this, which is really what I think is most relevant for the next 3.5 years. Trump may not meet the medical criteria for clinical dementia. He talks about how he always passes his brain injury testing. That very well may be. He may not be lying about that. He's lying that it's a really tough test, but he may not be lying that that is a test that he passed. Maybe he wouldn't be diagnosed with anything specific if he had a serious neuropsych evaluation. But anybody can notice that he's constantly confused, doesn't understand the issues, and has significant language deteriorations. He can't absorb basic information or remember what he said in past interviews. That alone is enough to say he shouldn't be president. We're not talking anything beyond that. It's just, is this someone who should be president? And of course, you'll remember corporate media and right-wing media dissecting every Biden stutter. And now those same people have nothing to say. There's no wall-to-wall outrage. There's no think pieces. There's no op-eds, because they are afraid to admit the obvious, which is that Trump is showing signs of decline. You don't have to say it's dementia. You don't have to say it's Alzheimer's. It very well may not be. But these are not verbal slip-ups. These are memory lapses, delusions, and a complete detachment from reality. I don't want to make this a partisan issue. We saw Biden's poor debate performance, and at that point, I and others said he is not up to the task. I've argued we need younger, sharper candidates for a long time. I just want some consistency, which is, if you're going to call out Biden, you have to call this out too, because we're not just seeing aging from Trump, it's deterioration. Deterioration is not a clinical or medical diagnosis. It's a manifestation of what is going on with the guy. We don't have to medicalize it. And pretending otherwise doesn't just lower the bar for what is acceptable leadership, it actually puts the entire country at risk. So I want to open it to you. You can email info@davidpakman.com. What do you think is at the root of what we are observing from Trump? Is it that he does, there's another argument to be made. Yes, he has the linguistic deterioration, but the constant confusion is he doesn't give a damn about being president. He just wants to golf and do meme dinners, meme coin dinners and that. It's just that he doesn't care. Fine, let me know if that's your opinion, but I want to hear from you. info@davidpakman.com. What do you think is at the core or the root of the confusion and delusions that we've seen lately from Trump?
So many different VPNs reach out to me wanting to advertise on the show, and I always turn them down because most of them do not pass the sniff test. Most VPNs are all owned by the same big mysterious company. They log your internet activity so they can sell it or give it to law enforcement. And these VPNs are just out to make a buck without really protecting your privacy. The only VPN I trust enough to have as a sponsor is Private Internet Access. Our sponsor, Private Internet Access, is the only VPN who has proven multiple times in legal proceedings they don't keep logs of your activity. The judge ordered that PIA show user activity history. Each time they demonstrated they don't have the records. That no log policy is also independently audited by Deloitte. And PIA is also open source. So you can also see in the code that none of your activity is being logged. And you can protect unlimited devices with just a single account. Private Internet Access is giving my audience 83% off, which is just $203 a month, plus 4 extra months for free. Go to piavpn.com/Pakman. The link is down below.